Hi, my name is Nina Casclenda, and this presentation focuses on the 3 best teaching strategies. The 3 teaching strategies that I chose to include was 1. Sentence building, focusing on syntax, 2. Odd one out, focusing on phonology, and 3. Roll and write, focusing on orthography. The first teaching strategy I chose to include is sentence building activities. This focuses on syntax, which is the language-appropriate word order, and how words are combined to create phrases and clauses in sentences of language. A great way to teach syntax in your classroom is by sentence building activities. For example, having students use magazines to cut out and look for specific vocabulary words, as well as nouns, subjects, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. They then take the words that they cut out from the magazines to put in appropriate word order to create sentences. During this process, I will use the explicit teaching model, in which I will explain to the students how to do this, model it with them, have them do it with me, and then I will let them do it by themselves. Components of a well-rounded activity include reading, writing, listening, and speaking. This activity includes reading because students have to be able to read to find the words within the magazines and read the sentence they've created. This includes writing because students need to use the words they find and cut out of the magazine to write a sentence containing all components. Listening, students need to listen to their sentences to make sure they use correct tenses when combining them and recognize if they put the words in the correct order. And lastly, speaking, students need to read their favorite sentence they've created out loud to the classroom. The second one that I chose to include is the odd one out, which focuses on phonology, which refers to the sound system of a language, the manner in which phonemes, distinct sounds, can be combined to create meaning. The odd one outs provides students with words that relate to vowels and consonants and which contain the same sound. Students will read the words out loud to themselves, if working independently, and have to circle the one out of the 3 words in which the words contain the same sound, but only one that's different. Then write the odd word out on the paper. In addition, you can implement partners in which there is one person reading the words and one deciding which word is the odd one out. The components of well-rounding activity include the reading, writing, listening, and speaking. This activity includes reading because students have to read the words out loud or to themselves to determine the odd one out. This includes writing because students have to circle which word is the odd one out and then write it down to keep track of on their paper. This includes listening because students need to listen to themselves when saying the words and listen to their peers to determine which word is the odd one out. Lastly, speaking, students say the words out loud both in independent and partner setting. However, in the partner setting, students need to tell their partner which word did not fit in. The last activity I chose to include is roll and write, which focuses on orthography, which is all the aspects of writing, including the spelling, the punctuation, the spacing, and special features such as boldface or italics. A great way to implement this is by using the activity roll and write. This is when students have a variety of flashcards with vocabulary words on them. Students will roll a dice, then choose a card and read the vocabulary word out loud. If the dice lands on 3, then they will need to write the word that appears in the flashcard 3 times on a separate piece of paper. This helps them grasp the word recognition by writing the word, spelling the word, working on the punctuation on certain vocabulary words, and the spacing between letters. In addition, they will create a sentence to say aloud based upon the card that they flipped over. The components of a well-rounded activity include reading, writing, listening, and speaking. This activity includes reading because students have to be able to read the word to their partners to demonstrate they know the vocabulary word they are writing. This demonstrates writing because students will learn how to write the words by practicing writing the vocabulary word dependent upon what number the dice lands on. This implements listening because students need to listen to each word when pronouncing the words and recognize where their peers might be making mistakes. And lastly, this includes speaking because students will say the words out loud and make a sentence using the word to share among the class.